Thank you very much, and bear with my croaky voice for 10 minutes. Thank you. Thank you very much, Lisa, because I think the conclusion of your presentation is a very good lead into some of the questions I'd like to raise with you. And I'm very thankful to IFPRI to have chosen this topic of social levers, because I actually think that's probably one of the main solutions we have to dealing with that challenge. Food is at the heart of our societies. It's at the heart of culture. Every one of us eats. Every one of us has a favorite recipe. Every one of us has fed a child. So I think working with people is the way forward, and nutrition is actually a very good entry point for dealing with multisectoriality. I'm going to do something different from Adriana. I'm going to take us to a very small scale and see how working with social levers at the community level can actually be good entry points also for helping us address multisectoriality at the more national level. I'll start by drawing from my experience of working in Afghanistan on an FAO project funded by Germany, implemented with the Ministry of Agriculture in close collaboration with Health. And I'm very honored to have here Dr. Zarmina and Dr. Ahmadjan from Ministry of Health, and my colleague Sylvia Kaufmann, who's brilliantly taken on the work after I left. The program was designed to mainstream nutrition in agriculture and food security policies and programs using a multisectoral approach. At the heart of the program was this design, basically working with all sectors and at all levels, from the center, being actively engaged in advocacy and policy-making processes, at the provincial level, engaging with government departments on integrating nutrition in their activities, whether they be health, agriculture, rural development, education, and at the community level, we were providing technical support to NGOs and other government or non-governmental actors working directly with communities and families. We were therefore also feeding back the local knowledge and experiences and needs we saw in the field on a very regular basis to the policy-making processes. How did it work practically? We started with joint planning exercises at central and decentralized levels, using malnutrition problem trees and solution trees. And even if you're not a nutritionist, if there's one tool I recommend for getting people together on any topic, is putting a problem tree together with nutrition at the center. And then when you start doing the solution tree, you don't need to tell anybody about multisectoriality. Their job is in that tree. And they're demonstrating to each other that, one, they can't do the job alone, and two, if they don't work together, it's not going to work. And using that joint analysis and that joint understanding of the situation, we started identifying gaps. What can we do to enhance the impact of what we're already doing on nutrition? And the answer was integrating a variety of nutrition-related interventions in ongoing programs. So we introduced first very basic nutrition education, using as many channels as we could. We were cheap. We said, where can we be opportunistic? Where could we get the maximum bang for our buck? So we just started saying, literacy circles. There are thousands of them. And if we take a literacy teacher to integrate a few basic messages on nutrition in her work, it gets out there. Schools, fantastic. School gardens. We started with 7 in 2007. There were 350 or more, even 400 now, 4 years. Some of them self-replicating. Working with introducing nutrition education in poultry groups, agricultural cooperatives, women's groups, teaching community health workers. So the families are hearing the same message from everybody. We then built on that with improved complementary feeding recipes and home-based food processing. What was very interesting to see was the synergies that started developing quite spontaneously. I remember sitting in a literacy circle. We were monitoring the nutrition education they received and asking the women, so what did you learn? They said, well, we need to eat more diverse foods. And I said, well, do you do it? Expecting a very dubious yes that, any evaluator would expect from a friendly respondent. But I heard this woman at the back of the room say in Dari, in a tone that was not to be heard, yeah, now we do. That struck me. So I said, now what? I said, well, I have my kid. He's in the school. They have a garden there. So he brought back some seeds at home. And now we've started planting vegetables in our house. And now we're eating that in our food. But the seed quality here is crap. we really can't get good quality seeds, which then prompted me to go speak to our seed colleagues and, guys, can you please get the seeds sorted out here? Similarly, school gardens. We use them as a mechanism not only to get nutrition education out to kids, but to strengthen collaboration between the different institutions. We organized a competition for the best school garden in the province. It composed a jury of representative of agriculture, education, health, rural development. They went out to all the schools together with the same criteria. So one, they got to know each other. Two, all of them started to think, hey, nutrition is my job, and it's actually not that complicated, and the kids love it, the teachers love it, the parents love it. So using something very concrete, you make that multisectoriality and that joint action real. And I'd just like to conclude the Afghan example by saying that when we started 6 years ago, our counterparts in the Ministry of Agriculture were not coming to the office. They had no office to come to. They had no terms of reference. They didn't know what to do. And nobody of the senior management of the ministry knew what nutrition was about. And just last week, the Minister of Agriculture went to Parliament asking for $2 million of government money to continue this work. And I think this is a sign that when you start small and modest, you can actually go big. I'd like to also turn to Africa to show there are many different ways of doing this. We now have a brilliant opportunity, at least from the United Nations perspective, to make these linkages work through the UN joint programming, and Spain has led the way in helping us work more together through the MDG Fund. I'd invite any donors to please be inspired by the Spanish example, because it's really helping us to do better work. And they've basically taken, it's a joint program with 3 outcomes. One is on management of acute malnutrition and improving feeding practices. Another one is on food security, especially working at post-harvest management and storage. Traditionally, these things are done quite separately, and sure, we can link them, but it's a confusing mess. So what they're trying to do, and I've taken these slides, by the way, these are not mine, these are from the coordinator of this program, brilliant man. And so he's saying, let's see how we can harmonize what we're doing. And the key to that has been setting up appropriate coordination structures at decentralized levels and working with the synergies. So at the regional level, they have a regional coordination committee chaired by the governor with representatives from their government department directors, UN and NGO staff. And their role is planning, supervision, monitoring. And then at the district level, I love the title, Synergy Support Team. And that's the head doctor, technical staff from agriculture and education and so on, from NGOs and government staff. And they do joint missions together. They work together. And the gem of it, that's where I really love it, is their concept of the nutrition kernel. That's at the village level. The head of the feeding center, the head of the agricultural cooperative, the head of the village storage. And the coordinator whose vision this is, Ahmedul Daida, tells me, they know each other. I want them to go take tea in the evening and say, hey, by the way, this kid's in my feeding center. Do you know if his father is a member of your agricultural cooperative? Does he get access to credit? So together they're trying to get the joint targeting to work and support each other. Over tea in the evening, gosh, nutrition's hard, but no, we'll do it. We'll manage. We're not alone. So I'd like to conclude by saying that the strength of working with different community institutions is that synergies start to emerge spontaneously. There's a tremendous power in getting nutrition knowledge out there. It's incredible what people will do with it. That requires, however, to have a common language. We all use jargon. Let's simplify it, and let people use their own words. It also requires investing in skills development, and that is an issue that is not sufficiently addressed in a lot of the scaling up. Invest in skills development, and not just basic nutrition, but also joint planning, communication, and facilitation. Get these skills out there, and people will be empowered to make the changes they can make with the resources they have to improve their nutrition. So I'd also like to emphasize that when you associate this kind of community level work and working with social levers with capacity development of government institutions, the social levers can become political levers. You can mainstream this in your government system, and that's very strong for sustainability and building ownership across the government at the central and decentralized level. It basically demystifies nutrition. So Working through different community institutions makes sense technically. A malnourished child needs support from different sources, and socially. It can generate a supportive environment that empowers communities and households to better address malnutrition with the resources they have. Again, the power of nutrition is that everybody can feel personally concerned because everybody eats and everybody is concerned about their health. So nutrition can be a lever for joint social action and for promoting resilient local food systems. It's not just leveraging agriculture for nutrition and health. It's nutrition and health leveraging agriculture and much more. Thank you.